Sometimes we forget that our life is so precious, that we are on a human journey here. This life is truly precious. It is sacred. And so it is important to also, I feel, reflect what goes on perhaps in that week, or you have been going on a course with this program. And I'm sure that you have been reflecting changes that have been happening in your life over the weeks. So note that down, note to self what is happening with those changes, because those are gems of wisdom that you can cultivate and you can become more aware of the difficulties of concentration, the difficulties or challenges that you've been able to break through. So these are reminders, and writing a note to oneself can sometimes be very inspiring because we can see the change that is taking place when we put attention into this journey. So for our journey to be meaningful, we need to see what's at operation here. That is body, speech, and mind. All three. In some traditions, we call it the Trikaya, the triple gem. Each of them are very important to cultivate and to understand. First, of course, it's to understand the power and the relationship between body and mind, and of course, our language, the labels that we begin to define our reality. And this takes a long sort of uh, opportunity for us to engage with each other, and would encourage you to take a class if you'd like. But the power of language, the power of how we construct our reality through the words and labels that we set, which seals the experience. When we say something is the way it is, it seals the experience, sets the boundary, and in a way, we lose our freedom in that moment. So we need to understand the power of language, but also how is the mind interpreting or translating that experience? What is the mind here in terms of reflecting out the experience so that we understand, or then it also comes into body. So let's say for a simple emotion like happiness, there can be some word that describes our happiness. How does that relate to how our mind interprets happiness? And then ultimately, how can we feel the happiness in our body? So that's constantly going on in the rhythms of our being. But it's very rare for us to stop and pause and to understand really what is happening in our human beingness. We often just continue to do in a repetitive way that somehow our life just goes from, 10-year blocks until one day we wake up and we're 50. And so we have to ask our question, how did we arrive at that point? So in order for us to arrive at understanding, we need to begin to zoom in to our life and to recognize the preciousness of each moment as it appears, if we can. If we can't do moment to moment, perhaps we can do, 24-hour blocks, and to realize what is happening.